Have you ever felt like you're constantly running on a treadmill, you know, busy, but not really getting anywhere?
Or maybe stuck in relationships that just aren't clicking no matter what you try.
Yeah, exactly. We all want to be effective, right? To feel fulfilled, live a life that really matters, but sometimes, well, it feels like we're just surviving.
And the quick fixes, the techniques we often reach for, they often don't lead to, lasting change.
Definitely not. So today we're doing a deep dive into a really foundational text that offers principles for, well, profound personal and interpersonal effectiveness.
Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's a classic for a reason.
It really is. Our mission today is to sort of distill the most important nuggets, the core insights from this work, give you a shortcut maybe to understanding these principles for lasting change.
Yeah, moving beyond just the superficial techniques to something truly transformative.
And we should mention our source material for this deep dive actually comes from excerpts of the Hindi translation.
That's right. Published by Manjul Publishing House, with copyrights going back to '89 and 2004.
So it's got history. And it's gained praise from some really influential figures, too.
Oh, yeah, like F.G. Buck Rogers, who wrote The IBM Way, and even NFL Hall of Famer Steve Stockton. So it clearly has a really broad impact across different fields.
Absolutely. So let's get into it. Maybe start with that core question. Why do so many of us feel stuck or overwhelmed?
Well, the book really highlights how common those feelings of fear and insecurity are. Worrying about the future, jobs.
Job security, supporting your family, yeah. It makes people play it safe sometimes.
Exactly. Leads to lives of kind of quiet desperation, or even developing these codependent relationships, both at work and at home.
And that tendency to blame others when things go wrong.
Oh, that's huge. It's almost automatic, isn't it?
It feels like it, but it just keeps you tied to the problems, right?
That's precisely. And it can lead to this sense of hopelessness, like you're just a victim, a cog in a big wheel, as Covey puts it.
Yeah, feeling powerless. Which really stops you from thriving, just reduces life to surviving.
And Covey doesn't just theorize about this stuff. He actually shares his own personal journey, which I think makes it really relatable.
Right, he talks about his marriage with his wife Sandra kind of dragging.
Yeah, but the love had died, even though they weren't like actively fighting, just disconnected.
And the challenges with their son, too. Struggling in school, academically, socially.
Physically uncoordinated, yeah.
Yeah.
He mentions the baseball bat thing swinging too early, just feeling out of sync.
And the usual fixes, the standard advice, it just wasn't working long-term for them.
No, not the quick fixes.
Yeah.
And this led Covey, during his research on communication and perception, to a really pivotal aha moment.
Which was?
That to effectively change any situation, you first have to change yourself.
Okay.
And here's the really deep part. To change yourself, you first have to change your perceptions.
Change your perceptions. Okay, that sounds simple, but probably isn't. What exactly is a paradigm here? Why is that so important?
Right, paradigms. The word's Greek, basically meaning a pattern, a theory, a belief, your frame of reference.
Like the lens you see the world through.
Exactly. It's your mental map.
Yeah.
And Covey uses that classic visual example, the picture.
The old woman, young woman picture?
That's the one. And what's amazing is how just 10 seconds of preconditioning, telling someone what to look for, powerfully shapes what they see.
Wow, okay, so if 10 seconds can do that.
Imagine a lifetime. Conditioning from family, school, work, friends, society.
Yeah.
It all shapes our paradigms, often unconsciously.
And that's the key insight, isn't it? Our paradigms are the source of our attitudes and behaviors.
Precisely. So trying to change the attitudes or behaviors on the surface without looking at the underlying paradigms.
It's not going to stick.
Right. It's largely ineffective long term. Like in the picture example, if you see an old woman, your behavior towards her will be different than if you see a young woman. Your perception drives it.
Which also explains why honest people can see the same thing so differently.
Absolutely. We think we're objective, but we see the world not as it is, but as we are.
So when we disagree, we tend to think something's wrong with the other person.
Yeah, instead of realizing maybe the issue is with our own subjective lens, our own paradigm.
This leads into that really crucial distinction Covey makes between the personality ethic and the character ethic.
He looked at success literature over like 200 years, from 1776 onwards.
And found a shift, right?
A major shift. Early stuff focused on the character ethic. Integrity, humility, fidelity, courage, patience, hard work, the deep stuff.
Right.
But then, maybe around the 1920s, it shifted towards the personality ethic.
Which is more about
Public image, attitude, skills, techniques, quick fixes, how to appear successful.
Ah, okay. And that's where the conflict often lies, focusing on the surface instead of the foundation.
Exactly. The personality ethic offers shortcuts, but for deep problems like the ones Covey faced, you need a more fundamental change. You need to address the character, the core paradigms.
So the solution presented in the 7 habits is this inside-out approach.
Yes. Start with yourself, deepest level.
Hmm.
Paradigms, character, motives.
Personal victory mastering yourself has to come before public victory, successful relationships.
You got it. You can't harvest before you plant. Trying to improve relationships without first working on yourself, it's just futile.
But that feels counterintuitive sometimes, doesn't it? We often want the other person or the situation to change first.
Oh, absolutely. It's a common resistance.
Yeah.
But Covey argues, based on working with thousands of people, that lasting solutions never come from that outside-in approach.
Focusing on others' weaknesses or blaming circumstances just keeps you stuck.
Right. True empowerment comes from realizing you do have control over your internal world, your responses, regardless of what's happening outside.
It's about that internal locus of control.
Exactly. And it's a continuous process, this inside-out approach, an upward spiral of growth, learning, commitment, leading to genuine independence and then effective interdependence.
Okay, that sets the stage perfectly. Let's dive into those first 3 habits then, the habits of personal victory, building from within.
Great. So habit 1 is be proactive.
Be proactive. This one really challenges our default thinking, I think.
It does. The core idea is profound. Between stimulus, whatever happens to us, and our response, there's a space.
A space.
Yeah. And in that space lies our freedom, our power to choose our response. That choice defines our growth and happiness. It's uniquely human.
He contrasts this with those deterministic mindsets that trap people.
Right. The 3 big ones. Genetic determinism, it's my DNA, my ancestors.
Psychic determinism. My parents, my upbringing made me this way.
And environmental determinism, my boss, my spouse, the economy. They are the problem.
All of them basically say we're just reacting, like Pavlov's dogs. Stimulus response.
Exactly. But proactive people aren't driven by conditions. They're driven by their values.
Yeah.
They carry their own weather, so to speak.
I like that phrase, carry their own weather. So it doesn't matter if it's raining outside, figuratively speaking.
Right. If quality work is their value, they do quality work. It taps into Viktor Frankl's idea about attitudinal values being supreme.
Meaning how we respond is the most important thing.
Yes. Especially in difficult situations. Our response can change everything, uplift us, inspire others.
So proactive people focus their energy differently too, right? Circle of influence versus circle of concern.
That's a key distinction. Reactive people focus on their circle of concern, all the things they can't control. If only that happened.
Lots of complaining, probably.
Often, yeah. But proactive people focus on their circle of influence, the things they can do something about.
Like, I can be more patient, I can work harder, I can be more loving.
Exactly. Working on the bees, like the story of Joseph in the Old Testament.
Right. Sold into slavery, imprisoned unjustly. Pretty bad circumstances.
Terrible. But he focused on what he could be, on his character, his response, not on what he had or didn't have. And eventually, that proactive focus led him to rise above it all.
It's such a powerful example of choosing your response. Okay, habit 2.
Begin with the end in mind.
Okay, this one's based on the idea that everything is created twice.
Yeah. First mentally, then physically. Like a blueprint before building a house.
So the first creation is the design, the plan in your mind.
Right. And the physical creation is the actual execution, the building.
And this is where the personal mission statement comes in.
Exactly. It's your personal constitution, your blueprint for your life, based on your deepest values.
And writing it isn't just an exercise, it actually changes you.
Covey says it does, because it forces you to think deeply, clarify priorities, align your actions with your beliefs. It gives you that ultimate compass.
And he makes that distinction between leadership and management here too.
Crucial distinction. Leadership is the first creation doing the right things. Vision, purpose, top-line focus.
Management is the second creation.
Right. Doing things right. Efficiency, systems, bottom-line focus.
And that jungle analogy really drives it home.
Oh, yeah. Managers are efficiently clearing the undergrowth.
While the leader climbs the tallest tree to make sure they're in the right jungle.
Exactly. Efficiency without effectiveness, without the right direction, is pointless, even detrimental.
Makes perfect sense. It's like programming yourself for success before you start. How do you keep that vision alive day to day?
Visualization and affirmation. Constantly picturing your desired end, affirming your values. Like athletes or astronauts mentally rehearsing.
powerful stuff. Okay, moving on to habit 3.
But first things first, this is the second creation in action.
So this is where the rubber meets the road, actually doing the stuff we planned in habit 2.
Pretty much. It's about exercising your independent will, your self-discipline, to act based on your priorities, not just reacting to urgencies or impulses.
Now, when people think time management, they think lists, calendars, but Covey argues traditional approaches have a flaw.
He does. He traces how time management evolved, from simple notes to complex daily planners.
The third wave, with prioritizing A, B, C, detailed planning.
Right. But the flaw was that focusing only on efficiency often hurt relationships and spontaneity. People felt too constrained, too scheduled.
So they kind of ditched the whole system, throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Exactly. The problem wasn't planning itself, but what they were prioritizing.
Which brings us to quadrant 2.
The heart of effectiveness. Quadrant 2 activities are important, but not urgent.
Okay, like what?
Building relationships, writing that mission statement, long-range planning, exercise, preventive maintenance.
The stuff that's easy to put off because it's not screaming for attention right now.
Precisely. But focusing here, Covey argues, is where the quantum leaps happen. It proactively shrinks the urgent and important crises.
Because you're preventing problems, building capacity.
Exactly. You're working on your life, not just in it. And for a tool to help with this, a Quadrant 2 organizer, he says the key things are balance.
Addressing all your life roles, not just work.
Right, and a strong Quadrant 2. Focus consciously planning time for these important, non-urgent things each week.
So how do you actually become a Quadrant 2 self-manager? He outlines 4 activities.
Yeah, 4 key steps. First, identifying roles, spouse, parent, manager, individual, community member, whatever they are for you.
Okay.
Then, second, selecting goals. Pick maybe 2 or 3 important things you want to accomplish in each role this week. Ideally, things that connect to your longer-term mission.
Right. Then schedule them.
Third, scheduling. Block out actual time to work on those goals. Maybe dedicate Sunday evening or some specific time for this weekly planning.
And finally,
Daily adapting. Look at your plan each morning, but be flexible. Let your values guide you if unexpected things come up, rather than just the schedule.
so it's principled, not just rigid.
Exactly. Following this process consistently, Covey says it makes a quantum positive difference.
Okay, so habits 1, 2, and 3 build that personal victory, that independence, but we don't live in a vacuum. How does this translate to working with others, interdependence?
That's where the next set of habits comes in the habits of public victory, and they build directly on that foundation of independence.
Can't skip the first part.
No way. Like Covey says, you can't harvest before you plant. Trying to use techniques to fix relationships when you haven't mastered yourself.
It's superficial, like a Band-Aid on a deep wound, as he puts it.
Exactly. So genuine teamwork, communication, collaboration, public victory requires that personal victory first.
And he uses that great metaphor, the emotional bank account.
Yeah, I love that one. Think of it like trust in a relationship. You make deposits.
Through courtesy, kindness, honesty, keeping promises.
Right. And when the account is high, communication is easy, mistakes are forgiven quickly, there's a reserve of goodwill.
Well, withdrawal.
Discourtesy, disrespect, breaking trust, ignoring people, they deplete the account fast.
And then everything gets tense,
Yeah.
walking on eggshells, defensiveness.
Misunderstandings multiply.
Yeah.
Relationships become, as he says, memo havens instead of places of synergy.
So how do we make deposits effectively?
The key insight is understanding what's important to the other person. It needs to be as important to you as the person themselves is.
So it's not about what I think they need, but what they feel they need. Empathy in action.
Precisely. Not projecting your own intentions or motivations onto them.
And clarifying expectations is huge here too, right?
Oh, absolutely. So many problems come from unclarified, unspoken expectations. Boss and employee, husband and wife.
Just assuming the other person knows what you mean or want.
Yeah. Bringing those expectations out into the open, discussing them, can prevent so much conflict and withdrawal from the bank account.
And underlying all these deposits is
Personal integrity. Covey stresses this is the bedrock. Without it, other efforts feel manipulative or insincere. People sense it.
trust is earned, integrity is the currency.
Well put. Conditional love, for example, doesn't build trust. It often creates counterdependence, another form of weakness.
Okay, this leads naturally into habit 4. Think win-win.
Right. And this isn't just a tactic, is it?
No, not at all. It's a total philosophy, a mindset and heart set.
Constantly seeking mutual benefit in all interactions. Solutions where everyone feels good, everyone's committed.
It sees life as cooperative, not competitive.
Exactly. And it flows from what Covey calls the abundance mentality.
The belief that there's plenty for everyone. One person's success doesn't mean my failure.
Precisely. As opposed to the scarcity mentality, which sees life as a fixed pie.
He outlines 6 different ways people interact, right? These
Okay.
paradigms.
Yeah. First, win-win, the ideal we just described.
Then win-lose. If I win, you lose. Authoritarian, competitive, often seen in sports or traditional schooling, maybe.
Right. But dysfunctional in interdependent relationships where cooperation is needed.
Then lose-win. I lose, you win. Kind of being a doormat.
Yeah.
Peace at any price.
Yeah. No standards, no expectations.
Yeah.
Can lead to resentment and bitterness. Sometimes worse than win-lose because nothing gets achieved.
And lose-lose.
That's when two stubborn win-lose people clash.
Yeah.
Revenge is often the motive. Both end up losing. Often seen with highly dependent people lacking inner direction.
There's also just win.
Right. Focused only on getting your own way, regardless what happens to the other person. Self-centered.
And the highest form, the one he really advocates for.
Win, win, or no deal.
Meaning, if you can't find a solution that truly benefits both sides,
You agree to disagree agreeably. No deal. Walk away. Better than forcing a bad compromise that leaves everyone unhappy?
like the family choosing a video, if they can't agree, maybe they do something else instead.
Exactly. It preserves the relationship. The core insight is that only win-win solutions are truly sustainable long-term.
And for win-win to actually work, certain things need to be in place. Character is foundational.
Absolute critical. Covey highlights 3 traits: integrity, being true to your values, maturity.
Which he defines as the balance between courage and consideration, being able to state your views but also respect others.
Right. And that abundance mentality we mentioned. Without these character traits, true win-win relationships and agreements just can't flourish. They're non-negotiable.
This flows perfectly into habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Now this feels like the toughest one for a lot of people, maybe the most important.
Covey calls it the single most important principle in interpersonal relations. The key to communication. But you're right, it's hard.
Why is it so hard?
Well, think about it. We spend years learning to read, write, speak. But how much training do we get in listening? Really listening.
Very little, usually. We mostly listen with the intent to reply, right?
That's what Covey calls autobiographical listening. We filter everything through our own experience. We're evaluating, probing, advising, interpreting.
Basically preparing our own response while the other person is still talking.
Exactly, instead of truly trying to get inside their frame of reference.
So the challenge is to shift to empathic listening.
Yes, listening with the sole intent to understand. Deeply. Emotionally and intellectually.
Like the doctor analogy. Diagnose before you prescribe.
Perfect analogy. You wouldn't trust a doctor who prescribed without diagnosing. Why would someone trust your advice or solution if they don't feel you understand their problem first?
So how do we do empathic listening? He breaks it down into stages.
Yeah, 4 stages. Building in skill. First, you can just mimic content. Literally repeat their words.
Sounds a bit robotic.
It can feel that way.
Mm.
It's the least effective, but it's a start. Shows you're paying attention at least.
Okay, stage 2.
Rephrase content. Put their meaning into your own words. Shows you're processing it.
Better.
Third, reflect feeling. Now you're using your right brain, identifying the emotions behind the words, so you feel really frustrated about that.
Connecting with the emotion.
Yeah. And the 4th, most effective stage, combines them. Rephrase content and everyone. Reflect feeling. So you feel frustrated, feeling, because you think your contributions aren't being recognized, content.
That sounds powerful, giving them psychological air.
Exactly. It validates them, helps them clarify their own thoughts, opens up real communication, soul to soul, as Covey says. You have to understand their heart before you can influence their mind.
And only after you've truly understood, then you can move to the second part, seeking to be understood.
Right. Then you can present your own ideas effectively. And he uses that Greek philosophy. Ethos, pathos, logos.
Meaning?
Ethos is your personal credibility, the trust people have in you, your integrity. That comes first.
Okay.
Pathos is the feeling, the empathy, showing you understand their perspective, connecting on that emotional level.
Right.
And only then comes logos, the logic, the reasoning, your actual presentation.
But most people jump straight to logos, right? Just present the facts.
Yeah, and wonder why they don't persuade anyone. They skipped the crucial foundation of trust and empathy. The sequence really matters.
Wow. Okay, habit 6, synergize. This sounds like where everything comes together.
It really is. Synergy is the combination of all the previous habits.
Hmm.
It's about creative cooperation.
The whole being greater than the sum of its parts.
Exactly. But the essence of it, Covey says, is valuing differences. Mental, emotional, psychological differences.
Not just tolerating differences, but actually valuing them, seeing them as strengths.
Yes. Recognizing that someone else's perspective, because it's different, can add something new, create possibilities that wouldn't exist otherwise.
It allows you to create new alternatives, things you couldn't come up with alone.
Right. It stimulates creativity, releases the greatest powers within people.
It's sad to think how rarely maybe we experience true synergy.
It is. Because defensiveness, mistrust, needing to be right, they shut synergy down. So much potential gets wasted because we seek uniformity instead of valuing diversity.
Can you give an example of synergy in action?
Well, imagine a classroom where the teacher and students are genuinely open, learning from each other, building on ideas. That collective thrill of discovery is synergy.
Or in organizations.
Yeah, he talks about changing systems to foster it, like that sales team that shifted from competing individually to collaborating for group rewards.
And their overall results skyrocketed, right? Because
Yeah.
they started helping each other, sharing insights.
Exactly. Synergy transformed the whole situation. The key takeaway is realizing the limits of your own perception.
Humility again.
Yeah, knowing you don't see everything and valuing the different perspectives others bring, that's what unlocks synergy.
Okay, finally, we get to habit 7. Sharpen the saw. This sounds like maintenance, but crucial maintenance.
Absolutely crucial. It's about preserving and enhancing your greatest asset, yourself. Investing in the instrument, so to speak.
It's about renewal, right? Keeping yourself effective over the long haul. How do we do that? It sounds like a lot of work to keep all these habits going.
It is ongoing work, but it's the highest leverage work. Covey breaks renewal down into 4 dimensions, all interconnected.
Okay, what are they?
First, the physical dimension. Caring for your body, nutrition, rest, exercise.
The stuff we know we should do, but often say we don't have time for, like exercise.
Right, and Covey directly challenges that no-time paradigm. He argues exercise is a high-leverage quadrant 2 activity. Even just 3 6 hours a week pays huge dividends in energy and well-being for the rest of the week. It's an investment, not an expense.
Makes sense. Second dimension.
The spiritual dimension. This is about connecting to your core, your values, your purpose.
Prayer. Meditation.
Could be. Or spending time in nature, engaging with great music or literature. Whatever it may occur, renews your commitment to your values and provides that sense of leadership in your life.
Okay, third.
The mental dimension. Keeping your mind active and growing. Reading, learning, writing, planning, visualizing.
Like continuously educating yourself. Would updating your mission statement fit here?
Definitely. That's a powerful mental renewal activity. Keeps your compass calibrated.
And the fourth dimension.
Social emotional. This one is interesting because it ties directly back to the public victory habits.
How so?
It's renewed by practicing habits 4, 5, and 6. Making deposits in others' emotional bank accounts.
Yeah.
Seeking to understand, thinking win-win, synergizing, acts of service, empathy, affirming others.
So interacting positively with others actually renews us.
Yes, he uses that example from Man of La Mancha, seeing the potential, the good in others, even when they don't see it themselves. That act of affirming belief empowers them and renews us.
Wow. So renewal isn't just solitary.
Not at all. And these 4 dimensions are interconnected. Neglecting one negatively impacts the others.
But balanced renewal is synergistic.
Exactly. Growth in one area fuels growth in the others. It creates that upward spiral of learning, commitment, and continuous improvement.
It's a lifelong process then, not something you just master and you're done.
Definitely not. Covey himself was very clear about that. He said living the habits was a constant struggle for him, like improving in a sport.
He even admitted habit 5, listening when tired and convinced he's right, was the hardest for him.
Yeah, which is refreshingly honest, right? He saw himself as a student of these principles, not the master.
And that brings us back to principles versus values. Why is that distinction so important again?
Because principles, Covey argues, are like natural laws, universal, unchanging external truths that govern consequences, like gravity.
We don't invent them, they just are.
Right. Values, on the other hand, are internal, subjective. They guide our behavior. We choose them.
So the goal is to align our personal values with correct universal principles.
Exactly. We choose our values, but the consequences of our choices are governed by principles, Aligning with principles leads to positive consequences. Ignoring them leads to negative ones.
And he found these principles like fairness, integrity, honesty, service, growth are universal.
Yeah, he observed they're embedded in all major world religions and enduring philosophies. They transcend culture and time. We have an inner sense of them.
What an incredible journey we've taken through these habits.
It really covers so much ground, doesn't it?
Yeah,
From understanding our inner paradigms, our lenses.
to achieving that personal mastery, being proactive, having a clear vision, prioritizing what matters.
And then building on that foundation to create truly effective, meaningful relationships through win-win thinking, deep understanding, and synergy.
All sustained by that commitment to continuous renewal, sharpening the saw across all dimensions of life.
They're definitely not quick fixes. They're deep, principle-centered habits that require ongoing effort, consistent practice.
So, as you, our listener, reflect on everything we've explored today, maybe ask yourself, what's one small inside-out step you can take, starting right now, to begin or continue your own upward spiral of effectiveness?
Because, as the saying goes, knowing and not doing really means not knowing.